A big week for baseball this past week. Trade deadlines, some huge deals went down, some kind of insignificant deals went down, but to make sense of it all, I bring in my guy. This is my dude. He knows so much about baseball and does it in ways that I don't think anybody else is doing. We're, of course, talking about the batting stance guy, Gar Ryness.
Woo! Great to have the Sklar brothers neutralized.
Right?
One-on-one.
You get one. It's not a 2-on-1 fast break.
I've always been like a tall, gangly Sklar.
Right. You're like a more ethnic looking Sklar, if that could even be possible. So Hugh, obviously the biggest news is who was going to win the Juan Soto sweepstakes. Yeah. And it was the San Diego Padres. We were at the All-Star game together this year, and we were like, where's he going to go? And you said Padres, because your brother-in-law and his son are the biggest Padres fans ever. Up from Temecula, they were wearing their Padres gear at Dodger Stadium. I'm like, you guys, be careful. I know it's an all-star game, but like, be careful. But you're like, he could go to the Padres, he could go to the Mets, and it could go to the Yankees, you said. But Padres is where he landed. Surprised, excited. This is now the best young 1-2 punch in all of baseball, in my opinion.
Totally surprised, because there's a lot of people that weren't watching Nationals games over the last few years.
Yeah.
And so they may not be familiar with Juan Soto. Rank and file West Coaster.
Right.
If you said, hey, remember when Kershaw came out of the pen in the winner-take-all Game 5 in 2019 against that? Remember when he came in and gave up a home run to Rendon, and then a guy hit a ball out of the stadium? Yeah, I remember that. That was Juan Soto. Yeah.
And he was like 15 at the time.
Yeah.
This is what I said. I said Danny Almonte, when he illegally pitched in Little League, was older than Juan Soto when he started in Major League Baseball, right?
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And he was the reason that the Nats were able to let Harper go, because basically they had a cheaper, better model that was going to be, the outfielder. So the historical context on Juan Soto becoming available, there's never been an all-star under 24 available mid-year like this. It's like they don't, like, players usually don't come up at 19, so they don't have the, and they usually haven't turned down, $440 million contracts. And so and then the Nationals are like gonna probably sell their team, and they're not going to be good for the remainder of his contract.
It
was
could
like
go back to Montreal. I'm just putting that out there in the world.
It was the perfect storm to where there's no. It was like when Ohtani came over. It's like, hey, this 23-year-old star from Japan, what should we pay him? It's like there's never been a 23-year-old from Japan that's come over. It's all been like 27 and up. So this was unprecedented. So I was hoping that the desperate teams like the Padres, the Mariners, like teams that they don't have a shot to get a guy like this unless they draft him or bring him up to the system.
Right.
I was like, trade all your prospects. I know prospect. I mean, Trey Turner was traded away as a prospect to get Will Myers. So the Padres, Corey Kluber, they've gotten rid of a lot of really good guys. But the Padres, I saw a stat where the Dodgers in the last 2 years have won 19 playoff games. The Padres in their entire existence have won 14 playoff games.
Wow.
So 2 years of Dodgers
have won more than.
Yeah. So enough with the parade route down the gas lamp district. Like, let's win. But the Padres are, so I went down there for whatever opening night. The first game that they all played 2 nights ago. For anyone that's ever been to a game in San Diego, Petco Park is amazing. It's a great place to watch a game.
And were there Juan Soto Padres jerseys already?
Not only were there Soto jerseys already, but it was packed before the game starts. And it was,
look at that.
It was
2 guys in Juan Soto jersey, and then the Machado guy in a bucket hat, of course.
Jammed. It was jammed. And this Padre fans will, I feel your pain. Padres fans know that, like, generally when there is a highlight, when there's a highlight,
there's no one there.
It's like the Cubs fans are the ones cheering. So there'll be a walk-off home run for the Padres. Well, they'll be like boos because a lot of people are from San Francisco or they grow up. I don't know.
And also San Diego's a lovely place to visit. Here's my question. Is San Diego too chill for people to like actually, or did you see a little bit of San Diego aggression?
I saw Wednesday was we have the shot. We have a shot that because I still thought it might be like half empty. I didn't know, and then I could tell the standing room only seats were like $50. So I thought,
like,
oh my, that says, and there was no like, it wasn't like a tequila giveaway. I mean, it was people were there because they wanted to see Soto, and then when Soto ran out to the field, the whole right field bleachers, I mean, that's never crowded. Up top, it's never crowded, and everyone was Soto.
Oh my
Soto.
God,
I mean, it was
exciting.
Buzz. It was crazy buzz. The only time I've been in that stadium where there was a similar kind of excitement was, do you remember in the World Baseball Classic, the Adam Jones catch?
Yes.
So that was Dominican versus, and that there was a lot of buzz, but also it was like Dominican flag, drum. It was like exciting. Like manic, crazy buzz, but it wasn't really like go Padres. And the whole stadium is brown and yellow. And if you're gonna pick colors for your team, definitely have it be poo and pee, because you want to make sure that that's the look that you have. But I mean,
I love the old school Padres, like the '80s Padres. Dave Winfield.
Yeah.
I could have been a star in any leagues. Those
Gene
jerseys.
Richards.
Yeah, they're almost like a drop. Yeah, Gene Richards, like a drop shadow.
Oh yeah.
On the actual name. That was like my favorite uniform. It was just incredible. It was so '80s.
Another fun was the Padres. So never in the history of baseball have there been two stars in the same league at the same time that finished the MVP race in the top three that were under 23 years old. I know that's amazing. A lot of like math equation. Sure. Ferris's, my cousin's former roommate's best friend. So last year, Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr., both in the NL, finished in the top three in NL MVP.
Yep.
They were both last year under 23. It's never happened where that's happened in the same league at the same time. And now those two are teammates at the very least for the next 3 Octobers. Because Soto is signed. I'm saying this now, Padre fans. I do not think Juan Soto will re-sign for $500 million via Scott Boras with the Padres. So I think
he goes to the Yankees.
Yeah,
or the
I
Mets
think
or
for $1 billion he goes to the Dodgers. There's like a couple teams that's not the Padres.
The Dodgers. Ugh.
But here's the thing. What do the Padres care? They have an amazing pitching staff.
Yeah.
They're top. If Snell pitches good, which he did the other night, they're top 4, and I'm not even putting Snell in the 4. Like, are great. They're all Mania, like they're all good. They're all good enough to go toe to toe with the Braves, the Dodgers, the Mets.
Right.
So why not go all in? Put all the chips in. They threw in that trade. They threw in AJ Preller threw in the best, basically kind of like the top 3 prospects. Tony Hawk, the Channel 4 news team.
Tony Hawk is in there too, and the Channel 4 news team
from San Diego is in.
Las Cuatro, one of the grandmothers who make tacos at Las Cuatro Milpas.
When Hosmer said no, they had to throw in Luke Voigt and Blink 182.
I can't believe Blink 182,
and they're in.
So all the small things.
Yeah, why not? And there's no parade for your farm system.
Right. So it's winning now versus the future.
What do the Padres have to? I mean, what do they have to lose?
They have nothing to lose, and fine, you spent a lot of money on this guy for a few years, but you saw the stadium packed in a way that it's never been. It was so
fun. If you get a chance to, if you held your money for COVID and you didn't go to Italy like everybody's gone the last month. Right. If you're not hiking the Alps later to this week. Go to San Diego. Go to Petco Park
is one of my favorite parks.
There's a wiffle ball stadium behind in left field.
Have you been there?
I've been.
And Padres staffers pitch to the kids. The kids line up.
Coolest.
Now that happens in some other stadiums, but then there's this lawn like you're at the Concord Pavilion watching Seal in 1991. I mean, there's this lawn that goes up, and then the Tony Gwynn statue's there. So it's like this amphitheater where you oversee kids can make sandcastles just beyond center field.
They're like, we want to take care of San Diego.
It's gorgeous. Not about a seat in the house. It's one of those smaller.
And right downtown, it's like walking. If you're downtown,
every food item is there.
It's a great stadium. To me, I'm like obviously, the 2 best stadiums, in my opinion, are Fenway Park and Wrigley Field. They're the oldest. They're the most beautiful. I've come and done a 180 on Dodger Stadium. I used to hate it, and now I think it is in the top maybe 5 or 6 stadiums in all of baseball. Okay, I used to hate it, but now I kind of love it. But I think obviously San Francisco, whatever they're calling it, remember it was Pac Bell, it's AT&T Park, now it's Oracle.
The most so I've seen a game in every stadium, and the Giants have the best stadium if you don't factor in 100-year history. If you don't factor in Wrigley, and I mean,
it's the best.
Wrigley and Fenway are for sure 1-1.
Incredible stadium.
But I think the Giants is the most beautiful. I'm probably if the Pirates were better, or if
every
see Alcatraz,
every vantage point at the Giants Stadium at Oracle now.
Oh, it's the only stadium where the upper deck are better seats than the lower deck.
Because you see out into the bay and you see.
Remember
everything.
That playoff game? We had really good seats, and it almost was worse. I would have rather been up because you can see out.
We're sitting down at this playoff game and we're looking kind of just on the third base side of home plate, and I'm looking out onto above the right field wall, and there's like a mist kind of coming in, and I'm just seeing dudes standing on top of the wall, and I'm thinking to myself, this is what it must have been like in like 1920, 1910, when there were like no fences, but just a bunch of like businessmen like reading newspapers out in right field. It just looked like a line of people standing on top of the wall as you watch this game. There was something timeless about it. So I do love that park, but I will go back to Petco and say it is one of the most beautiful parks ever. So now
it's in especially the neighborhood is great.
So
it's
now
so
you've got
cool.
a top 5 park and now you've got a team that, so what do? If you don't pitch to Tatis, you got to pitch to Soto or vice versa. Like one of those guys, it's a shame that they'll cancel each other out.
Machado's having a great year.
Yeah.
You could make the case that the second best hitter on the market at the trade deadline was Josh Bell. So so I get down there. There's buzz like I've never seen before.
Right.
People are cheering the intros. No one's at a Padre game for the intros.
No.
And so Soto walks 4 pitches on first. And then Josh Bell walks. So now Brandon Drury, who's like the third, because they got Josh Hader too. Brandon Drury, he's having he's kind of a journeyman, and then has a 20 homer amazing year so far with the Reds.
Hader from Napoleon Dynamite.
No, Josh Hader.
Oh, the left-handed pitcher.
Long hair. Yeah,
long hair, who was having a rough time. So he's now not on Milwaukee anymore.
Right. So he's on the Padres. So Brandon Drury comes up and first at bat hits a grand slam.
Right.
The Petco loses its mind. And by the way, Cronenworth's an all-star. So now the thing is they have these like Profars, and they have
best first
Nola's
name in baseball.
Yeah, they have these guys
Jurickson.
Trent Grisham. They have these guys that like are hitting in the top 5 that really should be like 7, 8, 9. Now they are. Now they're 7, 8, 9.
So now those guys are protected because you're gonna get pitches. They want to sort of. It's just great.
This is also a little like Brockman math nerdy, but I love basically all teams in the postseason. And in 2019, probably the most important single play, and Brewer fans and Nationals fans will remember this, was in the wild card game. Josh Hader was unhittable. Brewers were kind of winning by a lot. I don't know if you remember this. Juan Soto hits a hard base hit to at least score a run to the outfield. Trent Grisham, who's come in to kind of replace Yelich because he was hurt, misses the ball, and it rolls all the way to the fence.
That's right.
And then because of that, Grisham gets traded because Brewers like, we don't want him around anymore. Gets traded, goes to the Padres. So now all 3 of those players involved are on the Padres.
That's amazing.
The most important play of 2019. So when you even talk about
all 3 of those guys,
Hader, Soto, and Grisham are all in the game for the Padres.
So
that's as close as the Padres get to a big postseason moment.
So it's just combining the players.
2 of their players screwed up in the wild card game for a different team.
Well, but this might be the Padres' year to overtake a team like the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers are a juggernaut, but Padres are definitely making the playoffs now. Definitely making the playoffs. I think you might see 3 playoff teams from the West.
Again, let's chill. Last year, without Soto. Last year, the Padres had the best record through 50 games.
That's right.
And then missed the playoffs with a losing record. I mean, it's really hard to win. It's really hard to win consistently.
Right.
Even that, the Padres lost the next day to the Rockies. It's hard to win consistently. So what the Padres have done is they've, on paper, put themselves in a spot where I don't think it's crazy that the Padres win one of the next 3 World Series.
They're 12 and a half
it's always been
behind
crazy.
The Dodgers, by the way. They're 12 and a half. So.
Yeah. But Kershaw's back hurt. They didn't get a pick. Are you saying
They're
Chris
2
Brockman?
they're 2.5 up in the wild card.
So 2.5 up in the wild card.
They're in the wild card.
They're in the wild card right now, and you see them probably over time playing better baseball down the stretch.
Their World Series odds cut in half because of the Soto trade. They were like 20, 22 to 1 before. They're now 10 to 1.
10 to
places.
1. And by the way, it would be amazing. It would be amazing to see them in the World Series.
It would be amazing. And I think the silver lining for the Dodgers is there was a world where they just ran away with this division, didn't really work on stuff.
Right.
And I think the Padres will have to light a fire. They got to make sure that
they may make the Dodgers better.
I think so. I think the Dodgers will get caught if they just kind of believe their own press clippings.
Got to get Tatis back and have him back doing Tatis things.
Yeah, I mean, they've done this without Tatis and basically without Soto.
When could he potentially get back, do we think?
Well, we're in it. It's supposed to be August.
Yeah, he took some BP, I think, earlier this week.
Yeah, he's like,
I mean, that
actually
guy's
swinging.
He's the most fun player. He's like he's so enjoyable. Like he should be the face of baseball
100%
moving forward. Not that Juan Soto shouldn't. I think it's so funny I'm like, Tatis is a better ambassador for the game.
Yeah, and Soto's good at kind of the things that the East Coast doesn't appreciate about Mike Trout. The numbers, like I think Soto's career on base percentage is like 427. That's like Tris Speaker, Ty Cobb. That's better than Mickey Mantle. That's like 15 spots better than Mike Trout. He's
it's insane.
428, Gar. 428. Come on.
All right, listen. We only have a couple minutes, Gar. I want to get some stances up here.
Juan Soto. All right, for those of you
give
that
me the Juan Soto stance.
Okay, so Juan Soto is unbelievable. So he does a lot of kind of movement. I know this is a little sexy.
I know.
But he will. What's really fun about Soto is he'll do this thing with his front foot. You can see it here.
But only on what counts.
No strikes and one strike. He goes like your daughter in 10U.
Yeah.
Softball.
Or your daughter who just went on point in ballet class. There you go, on point. The shoes are now fitting.
He'll do a lot of shaking and shaking and shaking.
Yeah.
And then with 0 or 1 strike, he'll do this. And then with 2 strikes, like old school, like Anthony Rizzo.
Choke up. Yeah, Anthony Rizzo.
He'll get real low.
Doesn't Anthony Rizzo has more bat underneath his hands than on top?
Doesn't do that. So he'll go real low.
Yeah.
And then the real fun thing is if he's really feeling it,
yeah.
When he takes a pitch, he'll do this thing where he'll shake, shake, shake. And then in the playoffs when he takes a pitch, he'll take it and go.
Shaking, grabbing, dancing. It's like Dance Dance Revolution. All right, so then he does. All right, favorite other stance that you're watching right now that just you are like, oh my god, I love this guy, I love everything that he's doing.
All right, so Manny Machado has a lean now that he didn't.
The new Machado lean.
Before.
All right, let's see.
So now when Machado gets up, first of all he looks 7'1", like 185.
7'1". Yeah, his shoulders are always above his ears, like he doesn't.
Like a car lot inflatable. He'll go like this, and then he'll do this, and then he'll go.
Oh, the lean. He leans way back.
Honestly, this guy may win MVP. Nolan Arenado is so.
I love Nolan Arenado. There's a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of Nomar twitches.
None of them being vaccinations.
None of them is getting a shot in his arm, but Jesus.
He'll do this, and a lot of he's clearly just separated his shoulder.
Right, or there's just tons of mosquitoes around that we can't see, and he's trying to get them away.
True. He'll lean back.
Yeah, that's right. He leans back. Oh yeah, he's punching the air. He's pushing shoulder stuff. I'm like, work that stuff out.
And he is textbook.
I think Deshaun Watson has a masseuse for you. Maybe I don't know.
He's textbook for looking at the ball. So if you watch a stop action, by the way, one of the reasons he's so good. Is he'll go. So he will completely do all this and then lean back.
Yeah, and then
he is looking.
He stops he stops his swing. He can really
Bellinger's like.
Bellinger is so relaxed, so chill.
Asleep at the plate.
Asleep at the plate. Asleep at the wheel.
Hence the 208 average.
But Arenado is just way down.
Arenado will hit it and be like, I don't know where it is.
Because he's looking down at the ball for that long. He's the way everyone should be with their golf swing. I love you, Gar Ryness, at Batting Stance Guy on Instagram, at Batting Stance Guy on TikTok. Follow him on TikTok. He's amazing. Wow. The TikToks he made, he was designed, chemically engineered for TikTok. And then on Twitter, at Batting Stance G. His book is a love letter to baseball. It's so great.
50 greatest stances of my lifetime.
And just incredible. I love you, dude. I highly recommend people go online and watch his appearance on David Letterman. It wasn't as fun as this, but you were amazing. You had Letterman cracking up the whole time. You're the best.